Good evening and welcome to ESP TV. My name is Karen Bryson, and tonight's special guests are Laveria Stiles, also known as Laveria Stiles Stewart. We also have Nicole Coley Cole, and rounding off our third person is Alicia Bennett. Welcome, ladies, and let me give our listening audience a little background on each of you. Laveria Stewart, also known as Laveria Stiles or V Styles, is a phenomenal hairstylist and hair educator, specializing in healthy hair. A Rudy and Kelly Paul Mitchell partner graduate who has been in the industry for over 10 years. Laveria also works with people with disabilities and has been in the mental health profession for 20 years. My goodness, welcome. It's so good to see you. Also with us this evening is Nicole Coley Coles. Coley is a celebrity hostess and as a professional model, hostess, EMC, red carpet hostess, and promoter, Coley gets it done. All right, lady. She has won several modeling competitions, giving her the inspiration to create and produce fashion events together with training and mentoring young aspiring models through her program. Working towards her MBA, Coley is now hosting some of the biggest fashion charity and fundraising events across the U.S. and internationally. Her career soared immediately because of her ability to keep her audience engaged and the energy she exudes. Her beauty and charisma continues to capture audiences live and on social media, enabling her to become an influential blogger and social media mogul. Hello, how are you?
Awesome. Excited to be here today.
Great, great, great. Our last guest is Alicia Bennett. Alicia is no stranger to our program. We've had her on before, but we have to keep bringing her back because there's so much that she's doing that we need to know about and also get her opinion on. Alicia is the founder and CEO of the Bennett Center, which focuses on closing the gap of poverty in urban areas and in the Hampton Roads. Her vision is to help those experience economic challenges and to assist them in building a sustainable plan for their future. The Bennett Center's priority is centered around the family structure by bringing fathers and or male role model figures back into the home, building economic stability by teaching youth to become entrepreneurs and stressing implementation of providing quality education in urban communities. Alicia is all too familiar with the frustrations of growing up in a mother-only family, impoverished and having to depend on government systems for service. She is working tirelessly, as always, in trying to educate others on how to break this cycle. And we want to welcome you once again to our show. How are you, Alicia?
I'm good, thank you.
Hi, Alicia.
I'm hoping all of you all had a wonderful holiday weekend and family and friends. There are no complaints or anything. Well, tonight's subject, we are going to discuss something that everyone is still discussing because it's still on everyone's mind. We're going to discuss the pandemic. We're going to discuss financial matters with unemployment and job security. And also, finally, we may, if we have enough time, even come up with a few things to discuss regarding our current political stresses. Let's start with the pandemic. Prior to the holiday, the COVID numbers were slowly coming down, but since then, I'm given to understand that the CDC is saying that at least 450,000 more deaths will occur between now and February. Those figures are staggering and extremely detrimental to families and the economy and everything else that's going on. With this increased avalanche of new cases and deaths, what are your thoughts, each of you, on what people need to do at this point to maintain and continue to be safe in their homes? Can we start with Alicia?
Sure. Personally, I feel like we have not done enough. Unfortunately, the president that we have currently has not been very instrumental in making sure that the citizens that he has been charged to protect have been indeed protected. So we know all the issues of him not, catching this on time or responding on time, but he continues to not do anything about it. Like it's just going to go away on its own. And so, as citizens, we must be able to step in and want to take care of our own society, right? When we don't have the commander in chief who's willing to do it. So, yes, the numbers are this. We're going to get a second wave of this, and this has already been predicted, right? So we just need to be able to listen to our, local government when they say, hey, you can only have so many people, at one time, and wear your mask and wash your hands and those types of things. Unfortunately, they're trying to figure out a vaccine and all of that, but we know that COVID is just, it's a strand of the cold, of the common cold, right? And we don't have a vaccine for the common cold. There's never been a vaccine for the common cold because they just can't make one up for years. So I'm very wary about a vaccine that is based on that shit, but heightened, and they're coming out with it, right? That hasn't been tested for at least 10 years. So that's my take on the pandemic and how we just have to just be a little more careful and making sure that we sanitize our hands and we're staying our distance. And a lot of times, even with colds, we come out in the open when we know we're sick and we have colds and things like that, and people just being considerate of others.
Absolutely. Laveria, how do you weigh in on this?
Well, my thing is that since Thanksgiving, it's been like over 200,000 new cases since last Friday. So, I mean, even us as a community, we need to just stop going out as much. If we don't have to, we need to wear masks. I see a lot of people that they're still not wearing masks. They'll get with their friends and families and so forth, and then the mask comes down. They go in public places and the mask comes down. When I'm at my job at the salon, I wear two masks because I'm not sure, who has the virus. I'm not sure how people interact. And, since Thanksgiving, the numbers have, gone up tremendously. And, it's just, we have to just be safe. And, it does start with our leader. Our leader, he has to be the first to go and like promote really wearing masks because he has a lot of people following him, and they're not wearing masks because he doesn't really want to wear a mask. So it trickles on down, so people don't take it as serious, and it's just going to keep spreading and spreading and spreading. So that's really my take on it.
Absolutely.
Hmm.
Nicole, do you agree with this?
Yes, just to piggyback off of what the two young ladies said, because of my job, until the government steps in and say stay home, I have to make a living to provide for me and my family. And what I'm finding out in my travels is because of the leadership above, and they're not engaging. They're talking the talk, but you're not walking the walk. And I see so many people not wearing their mask. It infuriates me, but I'm not the president. Who am I? Um, they're not wearing their mask. They're not doing the things that they're supposed to do. So people like myself that are, in my travels, I got on the face shield. I got on the face shield glasses. I got on the mask. I got on my gloves, and I find myself getting into it with people who don't want to wear a mask. So I'm not the president. I'm not a senator. And I was on the plane, and I looked at the young lady who was on the other seat. I said, "Are you going to put your mask on?" And she was like, "No, you can't make me." So as a result of that, my temperature was rising. I just hit the call button for the flight attendant and brought to their attention that she didn't want to put her mask on, because my tension was rising. We just have so many people. I guess they're following the leadership. No, I don't guess. I know they're not following the leadership, the president, the senators, and the elected officials. Who, they're sending a strong message: don't wear your mask. And what they don't realize, just by wearing a simple mask and wash your hands, just like Dr. Fauci has been saying, that can bring this coronavirus and cut the numbers in half.
I agree with each of your statements, ladies. Um, but what you're saying is specifically, you are a person, you are part of the citizenship here, whether we voted President Trump in or not. He is still an elected official and is supposed to work for all of the people. So he has to speak for us, which means he works for us. We don't work for him. What I'm not understanding is the fact that even though this is a more dangerous strain of a virus, when anyone is sick, just normal thoughts, you keep that person in their bedroom, you isolate them, you give them the necessary medications and foods and things to help combat whatever virus they have. And as we have discussed a few minutes ago, colds basically have to work themselves out. There's nothing you can really take for a cold other than to let it do its course. But if everyone else around you is not being responsible and doing what they need to do, then it's not going to help. I think that a lot of the numbers, because everyone was so ready to see relatives that you haven't seen in a long time, and a lot of people were traveling over the Thanksgiving holiday and going to different states and cities, and whereas you may in your own nucleus, in your household with your own people around you have been extremely careful, you're not certain what other people do in their households. So do you all feel that that can be another contributing factor to a lot of the numbers rising right now? Can I get a response from each of you? The same. Alicia?
I traveled over the Thanksgiving weekend, actually, not with family, but alone. And everyone I observed had on masks in the airport. The airports weren't really that crowded. I didn't travel on Thanksgiving. I traveled the day after, and then I came, home after the weekend. And I found that everybody was actually, kind of following it at the airport, in the airport and on the plane. And they really enforced that, and they had the wipes, and they had all of those things, making sure that their snacks were in bags and those sort of things. I just really think that 2020 has really shown us that we have to be very conscious of our own self and our own bodies.
Right.
And we really need to have the mindset of taking care of us, right? And then those who we are in charge of. Um, Make sure that your immune system is working the way that it should. Eat healthier. Those things that are going to allow you to stick around just a little bit longer. Um, I think we've taken that for granted for so long, but I'm happy to see that, even on social media, that people are actually looking at their health, and they're running more and they're exercising, especially during the pandemic, because there's really not that much to do, right? So
Yes.
they're taking better care of their bodies. I think 2020 has shown us um, a lot about self-care and what we need to do in order to stay healthy. And I think if we keep on that path, I think that things will get better.
Great. Laveria, you mentioned in your shop in your salon, should I say, that you wear two masks.
Yes.
What is the double masking helping to avoid from you as opposed to just wearing one?
Because we're breathing the same air. Everybody's breathing the same air. people in a salon, you can't really stay 6 feet away from the next person. So you have the person right there talking to you, just interacting with you right there. So I have on two masks, so for my comfort, for my safety, because I just feel better wearing two masks versus one.
Okay. I've noticed, well, not noticed, but when I go to the salon that I attend, we have to have our masks on while she's doing our hair. And she has hers on the entire time. So that cuts down a lot of the close interaction since we're not 6 feet apart at that point. But we do have a mask on no matter what she's doing to your hair. We still have to have the mask on, whether it's washing, blow drying, coloring, curling, whatever. We still have the mask on the entire time we're there. And when we walk in, we sanitize our hands, and she sanitizes the seat after each person and whatever instruments or whatever she uses. So I think that
Absolutely.
in order for, especially businesses, to maintain that, that is going to have to be the route that they are very conscious of. Nicole, you travel a lot. A lot. I read your bio, girl. In your travels here lately, are people being respectful of wearing the mask, other than when you said you were on the airplane and there and the lady was being disrespectful and not want? What did the flight attendant at that point do? Did she change her seat or your seat, or did she instruct her to put her mask on, or she would have to leave the plane?
On American Airlines, as soon as I brought it to their attention, she quickly came over and she didn't ask her. She told her, put the mask on or you're gonna have to get off the plane, period. And as far as this is just my opinion. And I have a lot of friends who are nurses and doctors that work in the healthcare field, the first responders. Um, what they say is for the non-believers, it takes for somebody or somebody that they know, maybe a family member, a close friend, a coworker, to die of COVID, and then now you want to wear your mask. Well, it doesn't take a lot of 230, 40, 75,000 people that die of COVID, when all you have to do is just wear your mask. And I think, this is my opinion, things people for the people that just the anti-mask wearers, it's somebody close to them, something has to happen in this to get them to say, you know what, gee, maybe I need to start wearing my mask. And a lot of people don't realize you're not wearing the mask for yourself, but you're wearing it for somebody else, to protect them and their family. Because there's a lot of people walking around asymptomatic. They haven't got tested. They're not running a fever. So therefore, I don't have it. Recently, back in the beginning of April, I personally had it, and as a result of having corona and struggling with breathing, and just I've never in my life ever had to lay in the bed for 3 weeks straight and not get out. So because it personally affect me, I wash my hand extra, just like the other panelist Laveria was saying. I'm a little bit paranoid, so sometimes I have eye protective gear, the face shield, two masks, um, because people I've seen directly have been affected by the corona. I've always believed in wearing a mask. However, there's still a lot of non-mask wearers, because right now, this holiday season, getting ready to have a holiday party at the White House. They've already had one, and hardly nobody was wearing a mask. So, we can just keep pushing the fact, wear your mask, wash your hands. We could possibly bring those numbers down, because nobody wants to go back on a lockdown.
Absolutely. I think at some point, the administration is going to have to do a total lockdown for a couple of weeks to make everyone realize that this is serious. It's not going away. And it's disheartening to see that even some high school and college students, they're disregarding the fact, like, oh, it's not going to happen to me, it's not going to happen to my friends, because it's not close to them. But with as many deaths that have occurred here this past 8 or 9 months, you would think that
Just
someone
in
close to
one
them
day.
or someone that they knew has passed or is really sick and in the hospital, do you think that they think that it's just a game and it's not going to affect them? How do you all feel about that? Nicole?
Just in one day, as I am always glued to CNN. I only watch one thing, that's CNN first and HGTV. But just yesterday, we in one single day, um, we've had the highest amount of deaths. There was 2,000 plus deaths, and now the U.S. has more deaths than in China where it started. So yes, I think with some people, just my opinion, until it directly affects them, somebody close to them, or if hopefully they don't get it, we don't wish it on anybody. Now you want
Right.
to start wearing your mask.
Laveria, what do you think?
I think that they're not taking it serious at all. They're teenagers, they're the young adults. They're not wearing their mask. I had a young adult tell me, um, "Hey, we don't believe in wearing that mask in New York." So they're not wearing the mask. They're not taking it serious. Just like Nicole said, it has to like directly affect one of them for someone to really understand that this is serious. So,
Absolutely.
I guess we have to do some more campaigning about wearing your mask, washing your hands, disinfecting, sanitizing, and everything because people are not taking it serious at all. They're having these parties, they're just having these gatherings. So, the bars, they're open, the people are taking down their masks, they're not really wearing their masks. So, I'm not sure what are we really going to do?
Exactly. Alicia, this has got to be affecting your business, the Bennett Center. How is this working out with you and your employees and what you have to do?
It's we have to adapt and switch to virtual learning and that type of thing. But it's our new normal for right now, right? Hopefully, in a year or two, we can get back to being how we were before, and this is all died down. But right now, we just have to be able to adapt, and we are resilient people, and we can do that. Hopefully, when a new administration comes in, they will, get us back with the Health World Organization, and get us connected and be able to implement back those programs that we had that were in place, scientists in place to help us. Um, a lot of things were taken away, especially as far as a lot of funds were taken away from the scientists in order to make sure that this very thing did not happen or that we were able to control it. And the administration before this, the Obama administration, that system was put into place. And it really stopped a lot of the diseases and things that came to the U.S. And once again, leadership and it makes a big difference. And we're on the outside, looking at the administration and what they're doing and what they're not doing, and then realizing, wow, the other administrations that we had before actually cared for us in a way that to make sure that we're safe. And just seeing the difference between the administrations, and hopefully we can get back to being a better place than we are now.
I agree with that. I don't honestly, my personal opinion is think that viruses or colds or anything else that you can normally get that are indicative to whatever season it is or what's going on within your own body, that viruses can ever totally be eradicated. We'll never go back to the past norm. We'll have to make new norms and be consistent with those. Since England is now passing out and giving their workers that have to have the vaccine I understand that the United States is going to wait a couple of weeks before they start vaccinating the essential workers and the elderly and people with immune deficiencies here in our country. Do you think either of you all will decide once spring comes or early summer when they decide to start vaccinating the rest of the populace that you will really want to wait and see how well the vaccination is going to be? Or will you go on and wholeheartedly stand in line and get your vaccination too? Alicia?
I'm a little different from everyone else. My family doesn't do vaccinations, so I will not personally get a vaccination, especially because it hasn't been tested. I'm a firm believer in taking care of your body and those types of things in order to be healthy, and that there are remedies that we can use in order to heal thyself, right? So, like I said, my family, we are making sure that we're wearing our masks and that we're staying our distance and we're using all of the, different remedies and herbs and things so that our immune system can be able to fight anything that comes our way.
I totally understand with your beliefs and things like that. I recently saw a movie where this family was Jehovah Witness and they did not believe in getting a blood transfusion for their son, and as you said, getting vaccinated. But at this day and age, even when I was growing up, all children had to have vaccines before they could enter school. So, how did your family get around that in order to allow you to be in school or even participate in any sports or anything else? Alicia, I still need to stay with you on this just for one more moment.
Yeah, well, you can go to the health department and get an exemption for your children, but my children are homeschooled. I have three children. I have a 21-year-old, I have a 13, and a 6-year-old, and they all were homeschooled, and that was, by choice, not only because um, it was just by choice with everything going on. I would rather be responsible for my children's education. But with that, that was one of the things that was a positive for me, not having to go by all of those vaccinations and such, being at their home.
Right. Nicole, would you get the vaccine?
Absolutely not. I am a holistic person, and I'm sure I can't be the only African American that feels that way. With my mother recently passing away from stage 4 metastatic breast cancer, and having some of my ancestors of different Indian tribes, um, the way I see my mom pass away has affected me deeply. And with that being said, I will not be taking a vaccination. Cancer has been around for a long time. Diabetes has been around for a long time. COVID-19 is a form of SARS and some of the other diseases that have been out here. And personally, the way that I feel, I don't think you can come up with a cure. And the corona has hit us supposedly since March, but realistically, they say it was here at the end of November 2019. And I don't think there's from March, when they said, oh, the corona is here, there's no way that you can find a vaccination that fast to cure such a horrible disease. So I'm just going to stick to what I was doing, because I personally had it. And I believe that the body could heal itself. Sometimes we need some extra drugs to help us along. But I believe in strictly enforcing myself, my family members, my friends, and all the people that surround me. Wear your mask. I take a multitude before I had the corona. I was taking vitamins, but I take a lot of vitamins to help build my immune system. It's just like a car. If you don't put it, you don't give a car change the oil in it, it's not going to work properly. And the same as the body. And before the Chinese, they had a lot of medicine to heal themselves, the Indians. And I personally will be one of the African Americans. I'm not going to take it. I'm going to stick to my holistic values and my belief, and just build up my immune system and pray. And because I just don't believe that they can make a vaccine that fast that's gonna heal. I'm not encouraging nobody to take it. I'm just, there's a lot of people in the African American community that feel the same as I, and I personally won't be taking it.
Okay, Laveria, what do you think? Will you be taking it?
I'm not sure. I'm already pumped up with a whole bunch of vaccines. I had to get them to go to school. I went to public school. So I'm not sure, what I'm going to do, because if we don't have the vaccination, how is this going to stop? If the vaccination is effective and if it works and if it's okay, why, my take on it is like, I mean, I don't know, like, why not go ahead and let's stop this virus from spreading? It's a deadly virus. You know, um, it can help people. What about the people, the elderly people that may need it? What about the people with immune deficiencies and things like that that may need it? So, I'm kind of like 50-50 on it. I do understand, everybody's views and everybody's points. We have a lot of people in the African American community are like, no, I'm not going to go ahead and get it. But, like, what is the real reason why? If you already had to get a vaccination to go to school, you've been going to public school all your life, like, why not now? So
Absolutely.
that's my take on that.
You ladies are really excellent with this because a lot of viewers out there that want that either thought of what you're have been saying or have talked to someone else about it, and because we're asking the hard questions now and getting other responses from the various populists out here and asking you're helping others to sort of think through what they're doing, and it's uncomfortable, but these conversations need to be had because just as adults are asking these hard questions and thinking through things through their families, it's got to be equally as hard for children. And I really feel for the children that are homeschooled right now and their parents have to decide whether one is going to stay home or if it's a single family home. What do you do? How are you going to maintain and make sure that your child is doing his or her schoolwork and getting the information that they need, because a lot of teachers are scared to go back to school. Do any of you all have school-age children that are being affected by this?
No, I don't.
Alicia or Nicole, do either of you?
My children are homeschooled, so so no, they're not affected by this at all. It's
Okay.
business as usual for us.
Nicole, we lost your audio.
Yeah.
Okay, while you're fixing your audio, Nicole, I'm going to move on to
I
the
have
next set.
okay, I'm sorry.
There she goes.
I have some friends that have like little toddlers, and they're
Mm-hmm.
torn between the fence because
Right.
the children, when they're home, it's hard for them to adapt to doing Zoom and not having instructional information in front of them, i.e. the teacher. And they want them to go back, but they don't want their children to get sick. So I would hate to be a parent of a young child right now, because I would be torn. I would have a rough
Absolutely, and I
time with
think a
that
lot
right
of
now.
parents are feeling that way. Let's discuss finances and employment because the news here recently said that unemployment seems like they're straddling the fence as far as giving the extra 16 to 26 weeks of funding out for many people, especially with creditors expecting rents to be paid, mortgages to be paid, car notes, and whatever else is out there, and people are still being evicted and having to decide whether or not hey, am I going to pay my rent or am I going to have any food to eat? And this is a really tough situation to be in because none of this has been planned for anybody, especially if you hadn't made any financial decisions as far as savings, and even that is probably dwindling. How do you feel we should address this with our city officials? Start there before we go even higher to get them to understand that, look, you need to loosen the pocket strings because there is money somewhere to help people that are in need. Alicia, how do you feel about that?
Um, I'm with you on that. I think that um,
Eric.
this administration, once again, is not for the people, right? Not for the little guy. They're looking out for, their friends and those who, make a higher income, and they're not thinking about who really who makes up the majority of our society, and it's not the one percenters, right? But being able to take care of your citizens. And I think that they do need to open up unemployment again. They do need to, I'm with the whole shutdown, right, of the country. Shut it down, give people the money that they need in order to survive, um, and let it go from there.
Absolutely. Laveria, if our governor decides to do a lockdown again, that's going to seriously hurt your finances and your income because of your business, won't it?
Yes. However, I do work with people with disabilities also. But yes, it will hurt businesses, small businesses, some large businesses also. So we have to budget. We have to create a saving because, we have to go ahead and look forward to, the country closing down. So my family and I, we do a susu. So we make sure that everybody has money, and we're, we're our own banking system for right now also. So we take care of each other. Every 2 weeks, somebody has the susu. So we make sure that everybody is going to have a lump sum of money every 2 weeks. So families have to come together and try to create a way to grow finances and stick together.
To support basically one another, and if one doesn't have,
Right,
implement it into the other's household. That makes a lot of
right.
sense. I hope our listening audience is listening to this because these are some great tips that we're coming up with. Nicole, you're an entrepreneur, so how has this affected you as far as what you're doing, especially with traveling and working with models and with your singing? How has that affected you?
Um, I wanted to. It has affected me, but I haven't let it affected me.
Right.
On a personal note, I started doing the modeling thing, and God blessed me to the point to where I have a cleaning business where I've been cleaning the last 18 years. And so now I have employees that could do it for me when I'm not there. But I also incorporated, I bought a machine to instead, we were already cleaning already. So now we bought the machine to come in and kill the coronavirus, the same one that they spray in the hospitals, the same one that they spray on the airplanes. So basically, what Corona has taught me, it taught me to go in and reinvent myself. But to add to what you were saying, I just wanted to touch bases on what the other two panelists were saying. I do believe that up under the new Biden administration that is coming in, as far as like the unemployment, I do believe that hard struggling Americans like myself who are entrepreneurs and for the other people that may have to work for someone else. I do believe up under the new Biden administration, things are going to be different, because a lot of the reason that the unemployment can't be extended, the reason that people are losing their jobs, the reason that people are out here, they can't get hired, is because of this current administration that we are under right now, the Trump administration. Um, so in my opinion, there has been money allocated, but because they're holding the money up, and when, I do believe up under the new Biden administration, people want change. We're hungry, we're tired, we're losing our jobs. They want to take the unemployment away from us, and I do believe up under the new Biden administration, come January 21st, 2021, it's going to be some changes around here. So we can just hold on as Americans. We shouldn't have to hold on and try to figure out a way how we're going to feed our children, how we're going to pay the mortgage, how we're going to make, you want to take away our health care. So, I was out there pounding the streets, vote for Biden Harris, vote for Biden Harris, because we want change. We want to be able to take care of our families. And with that being said, I think a lot of this, that with the stimulus package, our money is tied up in this political arena. So therefore, once we push the current administration out, he has to go, whether he don't want to go, you got to go. And up under the Biden Harris administration, they're putting key people in position to make the changes, to implement the changes, to enforce the changes. And if we could just hold on till then, we shouldn't have to. Who takes a vacation just before they want to pass the bill? The Republicans. Is because they don't care. It doesn't affect them. And if you want to get somebody, they're not going to care until it directly affects them and take their money. So up under this new administration with Biden and Harris, I do believe we can make some changes, get this unemployment thing going, extend the benefits, help us with our health care, and then we could get things going, because, to be denied unemployment and people out here starving, we got more food banks out here. But anyway, it gets me going. I could go on and on and
You're
on.
just passionate about it. I understand. What is disheartening about the whole thing is that half of America still voted for President Trump as if he was the savior and going to continue to do whatever it is he has been doing in order to save their lives, which he hasn't done anything for. So I'm wondering, is it just us, or are other people finally recognizing that this man does not know what he's doing, hasn't known what he's doing, and we just want a change? The only caveat in all this is, if we do not control the Senate or the House, we'll still be in the same predicament, because our hands will be tied in government as to things that incoming President Biden and incoming Vice President Harris want to do. What are your thoughts on that? We can start with Laveria.
Well, my thoughts are, I just want to see them really, really work. I really want to see what they're going to do, what changes they're going to bring about. Because, like, what can we really do? That's my question. Like, what can we really do? I'm not too sure. I'm not too sure. I just really want to see them in action. I want to see. I had enough of all the talk of what you can do, what you're going to do. People voted Trump in, and he has a lot of followers. People are following him, and everything else. I just want to see what's really going to be different.
When you
So
say
that's my
you want to
take on
see
that.
what we are going to do, who are the we you're referring to?
The we as the leadership. What,
Okay.
what are we going to do different? How are they going to lead different?
Alicia, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, I mean, you said a lot there. First, you said that 50% of the country, voted for Trump, right? So
Right.
that's a reality that we have to confront, right? So 50% of the populace feels like his way of leading, the things that he says and the things that he does, is really how this country should be run, right?
Hmm.
That's really a key piece in all of this. But we're talking about politics, and a lot of people go out and they vote for the presidential election, but that's not the most important election that we have, right? Our local government is really the important election. And so, yeah, the president, we want to rah rah for that. You come out every 4 years, but if you're really not paying attention to your local government, because that's who makes up those other parts of government, right? If we're not paying attention to that, then we're hurting ourselves. And a lot of people will
Right.
say, well, I'm not going to do the local. I vote in the presidential election. You're not really doing the country any good. You're not really doing your home state or even your city any good when you're not going out and casting your vote and holding those officials accountable, right?
Right.
So just like with the Obama administration, how much can we get done if the Senate and the House is not turned over, right? They're going to face the
Absolutely.
same problems that he faced before. And the black community wants to get on Obama and say he didn't do anything for us, he didn't do anything for us. But if you really look at the things that he was trying to get past and how he was trying to set up the structure for us, for all of us, not just black Americans, but Americans to succeed. Um, we would just want to
Absolutely.
say, what did he do for the African American community? He was the president for all. Let's not forget that.
Yes.
And specifically trying to put things into place that the House and the Senate just didn't want to pass. So we can't hawk on what he didn't do when his hands were tied. But the same thing with this administration. So now what are we going to say? Oh, Biden, they didn't do anything for us. But if we really look at it and see what could they have done, right? They're only going to be able to get a certain amount of things passed, right? That's going to
Right.
benefit everyone, right? Because if they're not in control, the Democrats are not in control of those two entities. It's going to be hard. You have a lot of old white men, Republicans,
Absolutely.
who are in charge of this country. And it's really sad. Hopefully, we can um, start focusing more on local government and being able to change the regime that we have right now.
Keyword change. Nicole, do you have any thoughts on? We've discussed a lot on this last little comment here. Do you have any thoughts on of your own for this?
I couldn't wait to speak on it. Thank you
I know
for
you couldn't,
asking me.
girl.
Thank you. We talked about this. We already knew this was. We already knew that this was coming. We already know that President Trump was going to say, "Hey, I lost the election and this and that." How is it that after the election is gone and over, and Biden has officially won, and they say, well, Trump got 72 million votes. You know how it happens? It happens with fear. With fear, you're dividing this country. You have divided this country. The racism, I don't know why everybody is so shocked about what's going on, how people are acting more racist. It's coming out. It just didn't came out in 4 years. He was the only president that was bold enough to say the things that was coming out of his mouth. It has always been here. He's been the only official leader that's high enough. You're not just the president of Washington, D.C. or Malago, you're the president of the United States. So when he started getting bold enough to say things and calling people SOBs, calling these countries shithole countries. And so they started getting bold with it. The racism and all this hate has always been here. He just brought it out in them. If I go out and I have a rally and the people start fighting, they want to lock me up. They say I am inciting violence. But what happens when the highest official in the land does it? The racism has, he got those votes based on fear. That's how he got in office. You did it 4 years ago, and you coming out of the office, and you're doing the same thing. And what's happening is you got to go. We're tired of this. We got a new president coming in starting on January 20th, and you got to go. And all of this racism, it's always been here, hadn't went nowhere. He just incited it. So that's how he can win with 72 million votes. How you change it? It starts with the local officials, with the local judge, with the local mayors, and then it comes over to the House and it comes over to the Senate. That's why they battling tooth and nail. That Senate race that's going down in Georgia right now, that is the most highest Senate race in U.S. history that they are spending, because they know whoever's on top, that's who rules. And that's
Absolutely.
how he's
Yes.
getting all. That's how he got all the votes that he's gotten with dividing the country. Malcolm said it. Martin said it. Gandhi said it. United, we stand, and divided we fall. And it's not until everybody's not going to come together. But there's a lot of people that were rooting for him that said, hey, he said, I was going to do this. Every time you turn on the TV, just lies, lies, lies. And we're sick of it. We're ready for this new administration to come in, and we're not putting up with it anymore.
I feel like you ladies have been sitting around my living room and we're just chatting. I wish I had a glass of wine or something I could pass to you all, and some fruit or something. But a lot of listeners out there want to hear the various views and everything. As we're winding down here, Miss Bennett, would you please tell everyone in the listening audience how they can contact you for your services real quick, in 20 seconds or less?
Absolutely. Like you said, I'm the founder of the Bennett Center, and we are trying to help urban communities come out of poverty. And we want to be able to do that by taking our young folk, right? Our young folk, and teaching them how to be entrepreneurs. All three of my children are authors, and they have businesses going, and I want to be able to help the rest of the populace do the same. So they can reach us at thebennetcenter.com. Every social media is the Bennett Center. They can always contact me on my Facebook page, Alicia Bennett. And if they want to be involved, if they want to be a mentor, if they want to be involved in the program, or if they want to donate to this program, they can do that as well. And start helping us come out of poverty. 2020 has shown us a lot of things.
Yes.
And one of those things is that we need other sources of income.
Great. Laveria, do you want to give the listening audience the address and contact for you if they want to come and get their hair done and coiffed by you in 20 seconds or less? We're really running out of time here.
Okay, you could just contact me on Facebook, Laveria Styles, or She Slay V Styles, or Instagram _V_Styles_, and you could just come and see me, and we can make an appointment through there.
Great. Thank you so much. Nicole Coley, how can your listening audience get in touch with you for your services, darling?
Thank you. I had such an awesome time being on this show today. I live, breathe, and eat this stuff. That's a lot of people don't know that about me. But I am Coley Cole. I am your hostess with the mostest. So if you need a professional MC, promoter, brand manager, we go around and we actually set businesses up and show them how to use different social media strategies to bring in customers, to get the tickets sold. And you can reach me on Facebook at Nicole Coley Cole Wigfall, or you can reach me on IG at Coley Cole the model, _ between each word. And remember, we just have to keep the faith, put God first, and the rest will come.
Absolutely.
And wear our mask.
Thank you.
Amen.
You ladies have been phenomenal, and I really appreciate your taking the time to answer the tough questions, even though they were uncomfortable at times. But you all forged through it. You gave the listening audiences some some meat to think about and chew on. And that's what we need, because if we're not going to have these conversations, then everyone is still staying in their little bubble and not understand and not know where to go. Thank you so much, listening audience, for joining us again tonight. This has been ESP TV. My name is Karen Bryson, and as always, be a blessing to at least one other person. Good night.
Good
Good
night.
night.